Hello and welcome back to Her Rules, Her Rise, the podcast that is talking about, um, today's episode is talking about the unpacking the childhood memories, messages, and cultural conditioning that limit our success and the truths we've had to unlearn. I am Danielle Dittberner, and my co-hosts are beautiful May Lee and Dr. Ann Cantonaline. So, um, today, yeah, this is going to be a really insightful topic. Really looking at the lies that we're told as girls to be nice,
Mhm.
to be small, to fit into a box, with a pretty little pink bow on it, and how we've really rose above that. Um, I'm going to start by just sharing. There have been some recent things that have populated that are going to be shared in today's episode. So I'm going to start with May. What is one of the messages from childhood that has shaped you, but also has held you back in your life experience?
Yeah, so my mom was very strict, and she would say, if you don't listen to me, you're going to end up in the hospital or in jail. So that's a pretty scary threat. And
Yeah.
she said things like, you don't, I know exactly what you're thinking. Even if you're not saying it, I know what you're thinking. So she was inside my head and she was, controlling me basically. So with that kind of a upbringing, I was very cautious, I was very obedient. And that's how I honored and respected my mom. And that's how I won her love, right? And it was conditional love, but that's how I lived. And so I brought that with me into my adult life and always seeking validation from outside sources. There was never an inside compass that said, you're okay.
Hmm.
Just speak your own mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's a tough one. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think the difficult part of that is now, as we are adults, we can understand that
Mhm.
parents are just doing their best,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
With what
And
they
at the same time, that can also be a disservice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Anne?
Yeah, and I could definitely relate and just to kind of also reflect is that yes, and our parents were often coming from their own trauma, Again, there were a lot of things that happened and that we didn't recognize the impact of all of that. And so for me, I'm the youngest of seven. And I have six older siblings that are that are 16 and 8 years older than me. So there was six siblings in 8 years, and then I'm 8 years younger. So I was kind of my dad used to call me the Legion, his Legion baby. I'm like, was that? I don't, he never told me why. He's like, did you go for a few beers and came home and were feeling a little amorous? I kind of always felt like I was not necessarily wanted. And, again, that wasn't true, though that's the way I felt. And also because again, seven kids, they're busy. And my mom was working pretty much from the time I was born. And so my older siblings had to take turns watching me and babysitting me. And I'm like, oh, thinking about that, if I was a teenager having to watch my younger sister, what a pain, because you're wanting to be with your friends and hang out. So the story that I often told myself, again, not consciously, maybe, was that I wasn't wanted, and I'm not again, it's that worthy. I wasn't worthy. Um, and also I went to 13 years of Catholic school. I was taught to do what you're told. That again, be seen and not heard. And I was very compliant, and I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't know that I could even say no for
Mm,
doing something. I had to, I was a people pleaser and, I'm
yeah.
recovering people pleaser and still struggle so much with that. And so,
Yeah.
that I think those are the ones that really impacted me the most. Those were the first lies that I think.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I relate to both of you
Mhm.
on that. Um, Mine was I've always been very perceptive of my surroundings. And so it wasn't just what was communicated to me by my parents, it was also being able to see what was going on in our family and around. And that was, you have to be nice, you have to be presentable, you have to be calm with your voice, you can't raise your voice.
Mhm.
Um, in the household that I grew up with, my stepdad was very violent,
Mhm.
very violent, and he wanted things done his way. And whenever it wasn't done his way, like there was just blow ups.
Mhm.
And so my sister and I learned pretty quickly that you just do as you're told. You do not push back.
Mhm.
Right.
You keep your voice small. You don't have an opinion.
Mhm.
If you do, there's going to be major conflict.
Yes.
And unfortunately, um, what was really difficult was seeing physical violence in
Mhm.
our household. That was towards my older stepbrother, and that was also towards my mom.
Mhm.
And so there was a little bit of that survival mode that we had to kind of adapt into that, like, oof,
Mhm.
I really have to watch what my expression is
Yeah.
because then what?
Mhm.
It's
So
being
that was a,
small,
yeah,
is what I'm hearing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, as a child, that's part of our psyche that's forming, that's keeping us alive, right? Helping us be in that self-preservation.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And in those abusive households, it's so difficult then when your biological parent is also at the source of that trauma
Mhm.
that they're doing the best that they can,
Yeah.
right? So,
Makes the trauma more ingrained and more complex.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear you had to go through that, that's
Yeah,
tough.
it
Yeah.
is tough. And again, I can have forgiveness
Yeah.
and I can rise from it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that piece, if we hang on to it, and May, you mentioned this in the last episode, how
Yeah.
it will suck you dry, it's when you hang on to that
Yeah.
pain, that doesn't mean you ignore it. It's just when you take ownership of it, I think is one of the key things that I keep hearing. It's
Yeah.
what do you own
Yeah.
about yourself?
I think so there was a personal story that I wanted to share, and I think that I'm going to share that here.
Mhm.
Also show kind of the long-standing repercussions that some of this programming has. So, I had a recent conversation with my mom, and I've done a ton of healing work and in my own expression of things so that I'm not playing life small, so that I'm really expressing myself in a compassionate, big way. And we were having a discussion, and she ended up calling it an argument. And so I really kind of paused and slowed down. And I said, wait a second, can you please explain to me what it was that you're seeing this as an argument because I don't see it as that. and I really want to understand this. And I can't remember exactly what her words were, but it was something along the lines of, um, it was something along the lines of like, it wasn't compliant and it wasn't delivered nice. And so the framing of what nice was not being direct. It's not being blunt. It's not sharing my full opinion. And I really, in that moment, had to notice that inside I had this fire that just, whew, I really wanted to just kind of outlash and say, like, I'm not keeping my voice small, right? Like, I wanted to act out. And I also have so much love and compassion and understanding of who my mother is
Mhm.
that it was, oh, this is also some of her programming showing up.
Mm,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
so instead of fighting back, instead of allowing things to progress, I was able to recognize that within myself and go, okay, I can hear what she's saying. And so next time, I'm going to pay attention to how I'm showing up. And if I am being direct, maybe even uh, kind of setting it up ahead of time of, I really want to share what's on my heart right now.
Mm,
That might be a little direct. Because I know whenever I'm able to do that with my mom and with anybody else, really, it allows the space to be set to for compassion and understanding. Let me actually hear you
Mhm.
instead of putting my own perspective
Mhm.
right.
or my
Instead of
own storylines ahead.
listening to respond, you're listening to understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Stephen Covey.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's so powerful in that, again, showing how the generations are
mhm.
the differences in generations. I think that's such something to recognize, again, just being aware of it and recognize and honoring it and still holding our own truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Jenna. Yeah.
Yeah,
Danielle, it's
yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to move on to another question. What do you feel like over, mm, I don't even, I'm gonna say not even like childhood, but within the recent years, I'm gonna say post-COVID,
Hmm.
okay? What is it that you've noticed that you've absorbed from social media, from cultural standards, cultural experiences, and family dynamics, something even more recent
Mm,
that you've been able to pick up and recognize how it's not serving you?
mm. I think for me, um, I mean, there's so many different things that have gone on. I think one of the big things has been, um, so I was raped, and I know, and just having, the conversations that have gone on in public, in in politics, in social media, on TV, and yes, there was the whole Me Too, um, and yet I think there's still just so much from the past that still is just really hanging on. Um, and I think I don't know if I think it's just that it's not necessarily that it doesn't go from my childhood. It does. It's again, those roots are there, and yet they're still continuing to evolve. And though recognizing, I have to step back again. I have to step back and really pause and think about it before I say anything, because if I don't, it, I'm I'm either going to be I'm going to say something detrimental to myself, or um, just not showing up well for others. And so I think it just comes back to um, I'm I need to make sure I'm aware of my own healthy boundaries, and that when these conversations, again, they're all over the place. And so it's that I need to continue to push back. It's like, regardless of what other people say, my story is my story. My perspective is my perspective. And it doesn't matter what other people say or what's in the news. And I think bullying has become almost a badge of honor. Like,
Yeah.
again, you look at politics. I'm like, I'm trying to work in schools and helping them prevent bullying and to have better relationships with each other and learn collaboration skills and effective communication. And I'm like, the adults in our world are not doing that. How are kids supposed to be doing that? It's like,
Mm, such a good point.
so, man,
Right?
it's
We're
like
supposed to
bullying
be
is
modeling.
worse. Bullying has gotten worse,
Mhm.
and it's horrible. And so, like, we really have to shift and go, no, you know what? That's not going to be the reality of, my sphere of influence, at least,
Mm,
and not just make it okay. We can't normalize that. That's kind of the key thing, I think, is not normalizing those things that are going backwards.
yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
we grew up, I mean, well, Danielle, probably not you, and I, not May. I don't, nah, maybe May. Growing up in the 70s and 80s and all, like, again, on TV, just the messages. There are a lot of things that have changed, yet, and we had improved, and yet now I feel like we're going in a kind of different direction. And it's a whole other beast. It's not even going backwards, it's a whole other beast that's opened
Mhm.
up. So, more than ever, we need to be present with ourselves, know what we're okay with and not okay with, and have our own, again, healthy boundaries of how we're going to interact with people and how we won't. So,
Yeah.
I
Love
think
that.
now with social media that we have the power to influence people.
mhm,
And you need to really think for yourself. Are you just following somebody who's putting an idea out there and bashing someone?
mhm.
They have things like the cancel culture and all kinds of stuff going on. Are
Yeah.
we just being sheep, or can we really question and have some critical thinking
Mm.
of what we're seeing out there? And there's often not an absolute right or wrong. So can we be accepting of different opinions too?
Yeah.
So right now we have the power more than ever to put our voice out there, and I would advocate, let us be a voice of reason, a voice of kindness, a voice of honesty, and lead with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speak truth in love,
Yes,
That's
yes.
kind of because, again, truth is like, I always love the quote from Jerry Maguire about how um, Kelly Kelly Preston is the role. He was a girlfriend, and she said, "Do you remember what we first, what our agreement was? Brutal honesty." And he's like, I think you added the brutal." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so true." Like,
Mhm.
again, we have to be cautious of how we're talking
Yeah.
to ourselves and to others.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. To be kind and honest is more impactful than
Mm-hmm.
being nice.
Yes.
When you're nice, that can be such a front. It's
Hmm.
not being honest, it's not being authentic. It's a
Right.
mask.
Right. It could be fake too.
can be
It's not
fake.
standing for anything.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Kindness is standing for something.
Yes.
It is knowing your position. It is knowing what matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's being conscientious
Having
of how,
compassion,
yeah, how you
accepting other
impact
people
others.
who
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, have we even, advanced since the days of the Scarlet Letter, are we, or the Middle Ages,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
we're still fighting.
Yeah.
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 Which brings us back to that again, healthy boundaries. We have to
Yeah.
know what we're okay with. What is
Yeah.
kind of our own code of conduct for ourselves and how we interact, you know?
And be a
Mm-hmm.
stand for that and
Yeah.
show your leadership and use it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's difficult. That's I think the challenging thing that I'm still growing and learning
Sure.
is when it's difficult to speak that truth in love.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a harder thing.
So there is a phrase, a movement, if you will, that my best friend and I are embracing. It's radical honesty, saying the hard things.
Mhm.
It's being kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's being truthful to yourself and to others,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what.
Yep.
Being a stand for it without apology.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Hmm. Okay, Anne, I'm gonna start with you on this one. I think
Okay.
leaning into how you're still working with
Mm-hmm.
that vulnerability factor. What is it that you are needing to unlearn right now?
Probably this has been an ongoing one, I would say. And it's that I don't just need to agree with everything that is said about me. Like, again, I've been able to do that with people who are more distant from me. And it's sometimes it's just the everyday people, that can challenge us the most. So I think it's that, you know, I really do need to listen to what God is telling me about myself and that the lies are not serving me. And so I think it's that is that I don't have to agree, I or just be silent if somebody is um again I can push back in love. I can push back in um, saying I disagree, just to say I disagree. Like that is something I had to learn how to do. So I feel like that's a big thing that's an ongoing thing. I don't have to always be agreeable. So, um, or just asking questions. So like, how does that, I hear what you're saying. It's back to that active listening. And this is my perspective. So again, I think that's the key is that making sure we're listening to others and not just sharing what we believe or we're feeling or our opinions. It's making sure that we're doing it again by listening to the other person, reflecting back to them, and then we can share,
Yeah.
So it's that ongoing active listening and active conversation that is not just, saying whatever's in our minds. It's like we have to
Mhm.
pause. So it's the being present,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I love that you just said, um, let me see if I remember it. Hold on. Oh, pushing back with love.
Yeah. Yep.
So good.
Yeah. We don't have to be nasty about it. We can,
No, no.
yeah.
May, how about you? What is it that you need to unlearn
Yeah.
currently that you're working on?
Constant process, right?
Mhm.
Um, feeling of I'm insignificant, I don't matter, and I don't have a voice. I mean, really,
Mhm.
Mhm.
after what I've been through, and I'm probably not the only one that has been through this, I need to speak up and help others.
Mhm.
My voice, my story, my journey is here for a reason. And until I speak up, others are not going to have the kind of help
Mhm.
that I can offer.
Yeah.
And I have to keep learning it because I question myself, why am I always playing so small and why am I always so scared to put myself out there? And I realized that you can push through, right? You can do what I told you to do, which is write that book, take 5 minutes every day, do it. But there's going to be a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
Because what? Because my culture, there's like the whole ancestry that we come from
Yeah.
tells you to behave and stay small and please others.
Mhm.
And it's so ingrained in us that for us to totally turn that around, I mean, you're pushing against, centuries of
Oh, yeah.
conditioning,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Generations.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I'm thinking
Not
of
just
the
me.
epigenetic factor of that.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
your genes are
Yes.
programmed with those thought processes.
yeah.
Whew. Man, you have your work cut out for you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all do. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're
It's,
so powerful,
Mm.
both of you.
yeah.
There have been so many times through our conversations in each one of our lives that we've been going through challenges with.
Mhm.
And man, if it wasn't for the support of each of you
Mm.
to just remind me of who the hell I am.
Yeah. And
Like,
same for you. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, the three of us together, it's so powerful for me.
mhm.
I just love the two of you and what you bring into my life. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
It shows the power of community. So
Yep.
all of our listeners too, you
Mhm.
all have that fire in you. You have the power. And we want you to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
own it. Own it.
Yeah.
Own it.
Not just us telling
100%.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Own it.
That's this it
Yeah.
you need to have habits. That's kind of the key. You have to set up habits for yourself for how you're going to implement anything. You've got to make it part of your routine so that it becomes ingrained. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So
It's
pick
it's
one.
part of that self-mastery, right?
Yeah,
You have to have that discipline
yeah,
that allows your actions to follow through with what your heart desires.
yeah,
And be the example for the next
Mhm.
generation, not just ourselves,
yep,
Mhm.
people watching us, our
yeah.
Yeah.
children, the
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah. So I would say the thing that I am really leaning into is sharing my truth, even when there's hardships that other people are experiencing or that they are in even in the moment. 'Cause that's one of the things that really gets me is I will quiet my voice or I will keep myself small when the people around me are in suffering or they are struggling themselves.
Hmm.
I matter too.
Hmm.
And so that's the piece that I'm living and leaning into. So, to all of our listeners, thank you for your presence today. The one thing that we are going to ask that you consider is how do all of your old messages still show up? And what can you do? And just practice maybe in the next week. What's the one thing that you can do to get in front of them and to help liberate them so that you can rise above into your authentic being? So, thank you. We look forward to hearing you on the next episode. Until then, take care with love and light.
Thanks, everybody.